On June 25, 2009, Janet Jackson didn't just lose her brother. She lost the one person in her family who wanted nothing from her. No access, no favors, just her company. In the years that followed, she'd be dragged into funeral controversies she says never happened the way they were reported. Sit through a murder trial as a duty rather than a choice. And lose a career-defining endorsement deal simply for sharing his last name. This is what really happened to Janet Jackson after Michael Jackson died. To understand what Janet lost, you have to understand what made their relationship different from the rest of the families. Michael Jackson spent most of his adult life surrounded by people who wanted something. Access, money, proximity to fame. Janet has said, in her own words, that their bond wasn't like that. She simply wanted to spend time with her brother. That kind of relationship, uncomplicated by an agenda, became rare for Michael as his fame grew, which made Janet's presence in his life something close to irreplaceable. Janet was in the middle of filming Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married To? On June 25, 2009, when the news reached her. Production had barely begun, she was just days into the shoot. Perry immediately called to check on her, then halted filming entirely and flew out to be with her. When production resumed, something remarkable happened on set. Janet's character was scripted to have an emotional breakdown, smashing furniture with a golf club during a pivotal scene. Janet has described that scene as genuinely cathartic. She wasn't acting the anger, she was releasing it. She broke 3 titanium golf clubs during filming and, at one point, accidentally struck her co-star Malik Yoba in the leg, sending him to a medic, without even realizing she'd done it until he told her afterward. She later said, "It never truly overcomes you. It just gets a little easier to carry with time." In the chaos that followed Michael's death, a specific and damaging rumor took hold that Janet had delayed her brother's funeral over a financial dispute. The claim, which surfaced in various tabloid reports and one later book, alleged the delay was tied to money, even down to a specific deposit dispute. Janet has never confirmed this version of events, and it remains one of the more contested claims from that period. The kind of story that spreads fast in a media environment already hungry for any angle on the Jackson family's grief. What's clear is that the family was navigating an intensely public loss while being scrutinized for every logistical decision, fair or not. When Dr. Conrad Murray, Michael's personal physician, went on trial for involuntary manslaughter in 2011, Janet made her presence known. She was blunt in interviews at the time, telling ABC News that Murray shouldn't be allowed to practice medicine again. Court restrictions limited how many Jackson family members could be present at once. But Janet remained one of the most consistent public presences connected to the case, treating her attendance less as an obligation and more as a responsibility, a way to make sure her brother was remembered as a person who'd been failed, not just a headline about an overdose. Murray was ultimately convicted and sentenced to 4 years. Long before Michael's death, his 1993 molestation allegations had already cost Janet something significant. She was reportedly on the verge of signing what would have been the biggest endorsement deal of her career at that point, a major partnership with Coca-Cola. When the allegations against Michael became public, the company pulled out immediately. Janet has spoken about this directly, describing the experience in blunt terms. Guilty by association, she called it. A phrase she's used repeatedly to describe how her brother's scandals bled into her own career and reputation, regardless of her own conduct or choices. Despite all of it, the funeral controversy, the trial, the lost deals, the years of being treated as an extension of her brother's headlines rather than an artist in her own right, Janet Jackson kept building. She's continued to tour, release music, and shape a legacy that stands apart from the Jackson name's more turbulent chapters. And she's been honest that the grief never fully lifted. She said publicly that a day rarely goes by without thinking of him. What really happened to Janet Jackson after Michael Jackson died wasn't a single event. It was years of quietly absorbing the fallout of being his sister in public, grieving him on a movie set, defending him in a courtroom, losing opportunities because of allegations that had nothing to do with her, and doing all of it while the world speculated about her motives instead of asking about her pain. She's still here, still working, and still, by her own account, missing her brother every single day.